Hi, my name is Namrata and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you are interested in improving your English, communication skill and in personal development, then do not forget to hit that notification bell and subscribe to the channel. So today I am going to talk about 3 simple steps to improve your English. But before I start, a disclaimer. Even though I am saying that these are 3 simple steps to improve your English, you can actually use the steps or rules to learn and improve any language. So it doesn't just have to be English. You can improve any language by applying these 3 simple steps in whichever language you want to improve in. So let's get started. So let me start with a small story. Growing up, I did not have anybody with whom I could speak in English with at home because nobody spoke in English. We all spoke in our mother tongue. However, one interesting thing that happened as a child for me is that my grandmother used to love telling stories and I used to love listening to her stories. She had stories from Ramayana, from Mahabharata, and those were amazing stories. And I used to get lost in those stories and the characters, and I used to generally love the storytelling time and I wanted more of it. And coincidentally, at the same time, my Mamaji used to stay with us. For a couple of months he stayed with us and he was an avid reader. He had piles of books in his room. So one day out of curiosity, I just asked him, what are those Mamajis? And he said, these are storybooks. I said, storybooks? What do they have? He said, these have stories. You read about different stories. These are called novels. The writers write. And I was like, what do I have to do to know the stories? And he said, you have to read. So there was my first introduction to my journey towards improving my English. That's how I got introduced to reading by my Mamaji and the curiosity that my grandmom had built through her storytelling. And I used to read. I used to read all the books that I used to get. I tried reading too, at least, because class 6 child would not be able to read all the books, but I used to read whatever storybooks that I could get my hands on. And my Mamaji would obviously, he used to buy those books for me. He was very kind. That was my first step towards the journey of improving my English. So why is reading the first step towards improving your English? Because when you read different authors, you get introduced to different style of writing. And there are different concepts in English language. So when you read books, you get to understand different grammatical concepts and how they are used. And you also improve on your vocabulary when you're reading different authors. So it is very important to start your journey by reading. Read whatever it is you should read. If I have to give you any tips about reading, it would be read what you enjoy, set a daily routine to reading. Don't feel guilty if you're not able to complete a book. Let's say you've bought a book and in the midway you do not find it interesting and you leave. You do not complete that book. So don't feel guilty about it. It's okay. Read what you enjoy. And if you need an extra motivation, there is a website called GOODREADS.com. You can go and you can create a profile out there. Whatever books you have read till now, you can look it up. If it is available there, you can actually tick it as you have read. You can give it star. You can review it. You can also follow other readers who are there on that platform. It's kind of when we were kids, teachers used to give us merit and stars whenever we completed a task or when we did something well. So maybe it is that extra boost that you can give yourself when you join the GOODREADS.com, and you can of course see how many books you are able to read. Give yourself a challenge. Step number 2. My step number 2 also has a very interesting story actually. In grade 6, when I joined convent, it was actually in the middle of the academic year. That also because one of the students had left. So the then principal was kind enough, to give me an opportunity to join the school. I was interviewed and then there were a lot of process and procedures, and after that I got the admission. So I made a friend out there called Minket Lepcha. So, and she used to get this delicious stuff. I think it was made out of berries which were dried and then they were grinded. So it was made into a powder. It used to be called Barkut. So one day I started calling her Minkut, and then it became kind of a rhyming, Barkut and Minkut. So it was very interesting. She found it very interesting. I found it very interesting. So all of a sudden one day we found ourselves, finding rhyming words and making rhyming sentences. So each day when I used to go back home, I used to write down a sentence which used to be rhyming, 2 or 3 sentences, because the next day when I went back to school, I could share it with her. And eventually that habit, I started writing poetry. Rhyming poetry, which eventually got me into the habit of writing my daily journal or a diary. I used to write whatever happened during the day, my feelings. I used to express myself in the diary. I used to pour out my heart in the diary. I used to write about the crushes that I had, the fights that I had with my friends, the interesting conversations that we had, or whatever went good or bad about the day. I wrote in it. And that helped me develop the second step or the second habit, which was writing. And what did it help me in? It actually helped me in a couple of things. One, in learning how to express my thoughts and feelings and writing it down in words, which is a very powerful thing. And two, it actually helped me understand the concepts that I had read in the books, the different grammatical concepts. It helped me use different vocabularies when I was writing down. So not only was my writing improving, my expression improving, but my vocabulary was also improving. So that was very amazing for me, and without knowing it, it had become a habit for me. So step number 2, my dear friends, would definitely be writing. And if I have to give you any tips for writing, it would be, again, make it a daily habit. Write as little as 4-5 sentences. It doesn't matter as long as you write. Get a diary or get a book. Just jot it down before you go to sleep, whatever your thoughts or feelings are. In fact, today we all are in a social media world, right? We all have Facebook account, we have Instagram account. Give yourself a challenge that for next 10, 15, 20 or 30 days, you're going to write mini post in Instagram. Whenever you're posting your picture, you're going to write a small thing about the picture, maybe 5 lines, 10 lines, a small paragraph. That would be a good start to write and get into the habit of writing daily. My step number 3, I am an introvert. I am a very private person. So even as a child, I was a very private person. And when I joined convent in grade 6, I was very underconfident because my English was not good. It was not that I could speak very fluently or I knew how to speak very well. And I had joined in the middle of an academic year. So there were few girls who used to bully me. They used to bully me for the way I spoke, for the way I was, the way I carried myself. At that time, I had just got a new haircut. I think that was mushroom cut. And they even went to the extent of giving me the name Jughead. So that happened, and that incident made me even more withdrawn. I would not speak to many people because I was very, very conscious. I had this complex that I was not good enough. I was not as good as they are because they have studied in the convent school since nursery and they know English better than me. So I was very shy. However, one day our principal, Sister Tina, started a program that after school, anybody who wanted to stay back could stay back and help teach the kids of the Didi and Dajus who used to work there. So I volunteered, and another girl also volunteered. Her name was Zinkman. She was my part-time friend. Because during the school hours, she used to hang around with the intelligent girl, of course. But of course, it was like all of us do, right? We all have a gang. We all have a group of friends, during the school time with whom we want to hang out all the time. So she was not mean. That is what her group was even before I joined the school. So she was also a shy girl. Of course, we became good friends later on. So when I stayed back, I saw this opportunity that, hey, this is this girl. It was in fact only me and her who were there in the volunteer program, I think at least for a couple of weeks. So I saw this opportunity and I used to speak to her whenever I got the chance. So here, when I got the chance to speak to her, I realized, okay, I'm not that bad. It's just that I'm not confident. Maybe I make mistake here and there, but I'm not all that bad that I think myself to be. So I started building my confidence. So my dear friends, the lesson that I learned from this incident is you must speak because you are not as bad as you think you are. Trust me, all of us have been through that process and all of us think that we are really bad. But no, we are not as bad as we think. So talk. And if I have to give you a few tips about this particular step, then it would obviously be talk. Talk whenever you get the opportunity. If you don't have anybody to talk to, stand in front of the mirror and practice talking. Imagine that you're talking to an imaginative friend and talk. In fact, there is an app called Clubhouse There are many groups out there. You can join different groups. There are podcasts, live podcasts that happens, live music show that happens, live meditation that happens, live chat group that happens where people just want to talk. So you yourself can also host a extempo or a speech kind of thing wherein you talk. And there are people listening to you. If they want to tell you something, they raise their hand, you give them the opportunity to talk, and you can actually talk. And you don't even have to show your face if you are shy. If you're conscious that people will see my face, they will know who I am and I will feel bad. So you don't even have to go through all that. You just need to log into the app, create an account, host a thing, or join a group where there are people who want to talk to each other, and you can improve your communication skill. So friends, 3 steps: reading, writing, and speaking to improve your English. And for those of you who are thinking of taking the challenge of writing for 10, 15, 20, 30 or whatever number of days every day in the Instagram, you can tag me there. I will leave my Instagram link below, and tag me and I will definitely follow you. I hope this information has helped you, and if it has, then do share it with your friends, your families, or whoever you think might help. So bye, see you next time. Before I go, I just wanted to share this with you all. I said I had started writing poetry when I was in class 6 after the incident with my friend. So I in fact still have this book, and these were the poetries that I had written, and I still have them. And so you can see, like how it started, the first poetry here, and then the ones, and then gradually I started writing, and there are still many that I have written during the college, and I have not yet written it down here. So yeah, just wanted to share that before I go. Thank you. It's all for fun. Remember that. That would be very interesting. That's the bird. Yeah. I hope this information has helped you, and if it has